Sophie. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Snark. Hey, Soph.
I'm Sophie.
I'm Christy.
Welcome back, everyone. How are you doing, Christy? How are you doing this Thursday, January 22nd?
Oh, well, first of all, I'm so excited for us to be talking about this particular topic. I
Me too.
have never watched a single episode of Survivor.
A single episode?
No. And you and my best friend, Michelle, are always urging me to please, please, please watch it. And my friend Michelle, she's not even like a reality show person, but her husband got her into it and she was hooked after a single episode and
Mm.
continued to binge, binge, binge. And I know that you've had a similar kind of journey with Survivor. It was a quick downward spiral once you had that first hit. So I'm really excited for you to take me through everything that is Survivor. The only thing I know about Survivor is really Boss and Rob, a la Traders.
Mm.
So, and I think Amber, right? Who he met and married and has children with.
Yes. Yes. Amber, his wife. Yeah. Oh my God. I can't believe you've never watched an episode. So I actually remember watching it as a child, like the Outback season, Pearl Islands in particular. I remember Boston Rob. And this was the early 2000s, and Survivor really changed like the reality show landscape forever and was truly a phenomenon. Like Survivor Outback, which was the second season that premiered in 2001. I actually have this in my notes, but it premiered after the Super Bowl in 2001. I think this is crazy. It drew 43 million viewers for
What?
its premiere. And then after that, it averaged 30 million weekly viewers. So
Uh,
talk about
43
like
million?
appointment television. Like this was like a water cooler conversation. Like everyone was watching Survivor. So I remember watching it when I was younger and then didn't watch it again until I think it was 2 years ago. 2 years ago is when I think I was flying to a bachelorette party, and I remember seeing one of the seasons on Netflix,
Yeah.
and I think it was Pearl Islands actually. It was season 7. So that was the one with Johnny Fair or Johnny. I was about to say Johnny Bananas.
Yeah. I was like, bananas?
No, Johnny Fairplay. So Johnny Fairplay, Rupert, some of the biggest, most iconic Survivor personalities. And I watched it on the flight and I was like, Survivor's so good. I forgot how good this show is. And I love reality TV. I need
Yeah.
to go back and watch the rest of these seasons.
Yeah.
So that was 2 years ago. And I have watched all the first 35 seasons. Since then, I still have quite a ways to go because
Wow.
the 50th season premieres soon-ish. And that is with all returning players and fan favorites. So I need to catch up. I still have 15 more seasons to go. But yeah, that's kind of my Survivor journey. And I am obsessed with Survivor. I'm obsessed with all of the lore. There is a lot of, unfortunately, scandal and bad things that have happened behind the scenes. But I love Survivor. That's the moral of the story here.
I'm so happy that you love it because I have a feeling that after this episode, I will start to watch at least one season and be hooked. And my best friend was telling me, she's like, doesn't matter which one. Every single season is great and they have nothing to do with one another. Start with whatever. It's incredible.
Oh yeah, start with Pearl Islands, season 7. It's like probably the best season. I also there's a BuzzFeed article that ranks every single season of Survivor, and it's pretty accurate, I would say, so far from what I have discovered through my journey. So you can start with the best seasons on that list, or just whichever seasons you want. But I highly recommend season 7, Pearl Islands. Okay, so I guess let's just get into it, shall we? There's a lot to cover.
Yeah. Anything you wanna chat about before we sorry, I kind of like dove right in, but I'm just so excited to get into it. I know we have
I
a
know.
pretty long
No,
outline
I
here.
guess in terms of housekeeping, you guys know we're going on tour. Link is to buy tickets is in our show notes. And yeah, I feel like that's pretty much it in terms of housekeeping.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's without further ado, take us through.
Without further ado, Survivor is the American version of a Swedish series called Expedition Robinson, which was created by Charlie Parsons. And it was originally called Survive! Exclamation point. They filmed Expedition and it went really well. However, 1 month after filming, a Bosnian Serbian immigrant contestant named Sinisa Savija, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, uh, who was the first person voted off the island, tragically took his own life. And this was 9 weeks before the show was supposed to premiere. His widow did not sue the network, but asked that the series be discontinued. And I think what's really sad about Survivor, and I get sad watching it, is the fact that when someone is voted off the island, quote unquote, they are being told like we don't want you around anymore. Like I could understand why that would be detrimental to someone's mental health,
Yeah,
especially being like first person voted off.
and sorry if you were going to cover this a bit further, but can you outline quickly just like the premise of Survivor? Like,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Okay. So the premise of Survivor is that a bunch of people are put on an island. And the original premise was two different tribes. And the two different tribes would compete in challenges. And now the modern day survivors, three different tribes. So two different tribes are competing. When a tribe loses, they have to go to tribal council and they have to vote someone off. And eventually a merge happens where the remaining tribe members merge into one tribe. And then it's an individual challenge from there. And so people compete individually until the final tribal council, which is when jury members or the people that have been voted off after the merge decide who the winner is. They vote on a winner. So
right.
they vote people off until the final tribal council, they vote for a winner.
And are they on an island, a desolate island where they kind of have to fend for themselves, food, shelter, things like
Yes.
that? Okay.
Yes, they have to build shelter, they have to find their own food, and they're given like rice, beans, but not a lot. They really have to completely fend for themselves. There are also seasons where they're given literally nothing, or one tribe is given nothing. One tribe has to start from scratch. Uh, yeah, but for the most part, they are completely fending for themselves against the elements. And it's 39 days out in the wilderness. And the original seasons had different locations, like the Australian Outback, uh, Africa, Thailand. That was part of like the fun, I feel like, was kind of experiencing. Like one season is China. And I love that season because you really get to kind of learn about the country, the location that they're filming in, and it's the themes. They're always it plays such a big role in the show. And now it's just Fiji post COVID and actually slightly before COVID too. They filmed just in one location in Fiji. It's cheaper. The show does not have the same ratings that it used to. It doesn't make as much money as it used to. It's just cheaper, easier, and also only 26 days post COVID instead of 39 days. So it's gotten slightly easier over the years. But yeah, that's kind of like the overarching premise.
Got it.
So, the series, the original Swedish series, required intense psychological testing, and that is necessary across, reality TV in general. Like, I know that we recently did a Patreon episode on the Megan Wants a Millionaire murder, and it is obviously like you're putting people into a, what's the word? Pressure cooker. You're putting people into a pressure cooker. Like you need to make sure they are psychologically sound, but especially with Survivor, which really puts you through the ringer both physically and emotionally. And they ended up, despite the widow's pleas, they ended up airing this season anyway. And they kind of just edited out the man that tragically took his own life.
Wow.
And Jeff Probst, who would eventually become the American version of Survivor's host, said that this tragic event was the first thing he knew about this show. And it made him think this show is for real. This is a
Yeah.
show about saying, we don't want you around anymore. We don't like you.
It's not like
And
America's Next Top. Sorry, I was gonna say it's not like it's
no,
America's Next Top Model where you're modeling chops aren't up to snuff and you're getting eliminated. No, no, no. We don't like you as a human. Get off
Yeah.
our island. Like, how can you not take that personally?
Yeah. And obviously, you can argue that, there are so many different reasons why someone could be voted off, especially at the beginning. A lot of it could be like strategy. Like people could be like, I think this person is a really big threat. We need to get them out because they could win this whole thing. So it depends. But generally speaking, you are someone that people don't want to be around if you're the first person voted off, which is really sad. Like it actually makes me sad. And I know that if I were to go on Survivor, there are seasons where it's like, oh my God, this has been my lifelong dream. I have been a fan for so long. And then you're the first person voted out.
Yeah,
It's really
humiliating.
sad. So, producer Mark Burnett started to pitch this concept to a bunch of different channels, and everyone turned him down initially, including Discovery, MTV, NBC, Fox, CBS, who ended up taking on Survivor, didn't really want it originally either. But the manager of drama development at CBS, Gen Maynard, fell in love with it. A senior executive passed on his pushing for Survivor, but he ignored it and worked strategically for a year behind the scenes to make the show happen. And yeah, they finally presented it to Moonves. I never know how to pronounce his name. Bad guy, who was the president of CBS at the time. And he just kind of shrugged, which they eventually took as a green light to get started on the show, which is funny. No one was enthusiastic about it at all. And the big thing that ended up kind of selling the show, he explained that the series would be catnip to advertisers. He explained that the series would be uh wait, sorry. He explained the series would be catnip to advertisers. Imagine how valuable a pizza slice or an ice cold beer or a cell phone might seem when they were offered to people who were starving on a deserted island. And this is so true. This is a theme that transcends every single season, basically, back when there were 40 million viewers an episode, and today when there's, I don't know, a couple 100,000. Like advertisers buy in because it becomes such a centerpiece to the show. There will be like a Chili's themed reward where they're like, and now you guys get to go to your own Chili's hot fudge sundae bar, TM, on the beach.
TM. It's Lord of the Flies in real life.
Yeah.
And you're these people have literally nothing at all for 29,
Yes.
36 days. The crazy shit. Like we always talk about how when you're on The Bachelor, for instance, you're stripped of phone, books, TV, but you're in like this mansion and you at least get to hang out with your pals and it's in a cushy environment.
And you get to eat.
You get to eat. This, it's like, you're stripped of everything that you would normally have in your day-to-day life. What does that do to your brain?
Yes, exactly. So, with that, it became an entirely risk-free operation. The fact that they could have so many advertisers buy in. He guaranteed the full price of the show in advance, all pre-purchased by sponsors, which ultimately got the official green light, even though, again, no one was like really that excited for the show. And Jeff Probst, who became the face of Survivor as we know him today, love Jeff Probst. He first caught Burnett's eye during an interview. At the time, Jeff Probst was just a producer slash interviewer at, like, he was low level at Access Hollywood. And he did an interview with Sandra Bullock in 1999. And Burnett thought that he did such a great job of getting honest answers from media trained celebrities. And I think that's so true about him. I think that he's a great interviewer. He's a great host. I just think he's very disarming. Like you trust him right away. And obviously, he's coined so many iconic lines the tribe has spoken. Like the gist of Survivor, right? Like,
Yeah, 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 yeah. I feel like I need to look at what he looks like.
oh,
I'm
he's such a little cutie with dimples. I can't believe you don't even know what Jeff Probst looks like. No, you would know if you looked him up.
Probst. Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah. And he is obviously iconic now. He is
Yeah.
Survivor. Survivor is Jeff Probst. So Mark Burnett thought that he was actually the perfect Survivor host, not only because of that he has this really disarming personality and interview style, but he was kind of like a nobody at the time, which would help the show be built from the ground up. It was like let's just put this, no name. No one really knows who he is. We can just create what we want out of
They kind of
him
took
in the show.
they kind of took a chance on him too, because to your point, it wasn't like he was a like a
Yeah.
well-known interviewer, Ryan Seacrest type of figure. He was pretty like he had a lackluster kind of background,
Yep.
so he had to have really been compelling enough for them to be like, "You're going to host this entire show." And having done it, and you
Yes.
said he still does it today.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah,
To this day.
he's probably sitting on so much money too.
Oh my God.
He's so
100%.
rich.
So the first season of Survivor was filmed in Borneo in March 2000 with 16 castaways, and no one knew what they were doing. Like the producers showed up and there was no plan for sleeping arrangements. They literally slept on the beach, just, down the shore from the castaways with their cameras that cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. And they were literally starving too. Like they just did not know what they were getting themselves into.
And how was the production? Are there just a whole crew following these people, offering no
Yeah.
assistance? And
Yeah.
then
They do
at
not get involved unless there's like a medical emergency, which does happen.
got it. And so what happens though when the production crew needs to sleep? And so, I'm sure they just probably swap
They
people
have,
out. It's a
okay, so
24/7 crew.
now producers, yeah, yeah, yeah. They have a camera crew and they also have like camp.
Gotcha.
And there have been, I know we will talk about season 16 Micronesia shortly, but there was a scandal that season where some of the castaways snuck into the camera crew's camp and like stole food and stuff. But season one, they like did not know what they were doing at
Yeah.
all. And it's actually funny watching back those early seasons. This season, for instance, March 2000, Bill Clinton was president. Is that crazy?
Yeah, I mean, we were so young. We wouldn't. I don't even really remember him being president because we were that
Exactly.
young.
Like
Yeah,
it was just so long ago, but it's so
yeah,
funny how like there will be references. They'll be like, "Oh yeah, Clinton, you're going to take half of this the winnings and taxes anyway." Like they like reference Bill Clinton being
yeah, yeah,
president.
yeah.
It's so crazy. It's such
That's
a time
meta.
capsule.
Yeah.
And yeah, so there were a lot of issues in that early season, again, because no one knew what was happening. No one knew what they were doing. This was so new. They used some of the local people to help them out, help with, finding grub for the contestants to eat at challenges. That was an early kind of like fear factor
Yeah.
where they would have to eat bugs and stuff like that. And this first season was, like I said at the top, a phenomenon. I know I said that season two was a phenomenon. Season one was as well. It drew huge ratings, and it's credited with helping launch the reality TV boom that we know today. Again, this was the year 2000. This was still really early in the reality TV landscape. And the cast of the first season became instant celebrities, secured brand deals, walked red carpets. Uh, I remember BB Anderson. So there were a lot of really standout contestants on the first season, a lot of big personalities, specifically Richard Hatch, who ends up winning the whole thing. But I remember there was this guy, BB Anderson, who was like an elderly man. I think he was like 60s or 70s, who did not know what he was signing up for. None of them really did at this time. Like, none of these contestants knew what they were getting themselves into. But BB was apparently rich and just went on the show for an adventure, but ended up hating it. And this kind of first season, it's so interesting to see how, again, like they didn't know what they were doing. They didn't know what they were getting themselves into. And in terms of like how to win Survivor, the formula started with season one. And that was Richard Hatch knowing how to form an alliance. And forming an alliance early on has become the formula to this day on how to win. Because if you have a voting block, if you have people that doesn't matter who you're voting for as long as it's not in your alliance, then you can take that alliance to the end as long as you have the numbers. That's how you win. And Richard Hatch discovered that strategy, which is so interesting to watch in real time. It was smart. Like he was a smart strategist. So, one of the earliest scandals happened season one, and that is the Stacey Stillman lawsuit. And Stacey was the third player voted off in Survivor Borneo, and she filed a lawsuit in early 2001 accusing Mark Burnett of manipulating the game's outcome. And she sued for fraud, breach of contract, unlawful business practices, seeking $75,000 plus lost prize money. And she alleged that Mark persuaded two tribe mates to switch their votes and oust her instead of the older Rudy Bosch. Supposedly to keep the popular Rudy, who is 72, on TV longer. She said he rigged the vote to appeal to CBS's older demographic.
It's so interesting because when I think of, again, I keep taking it back to The Bachelor because that's one of the OG reality shows as well. How much, how frequent and normalized it became for producer plants or
Yeah,
producers urging leads. I know you don't like Corinne Olympios, but you got to keep her because she's good TV.
yeah,
Urging leads to keep people on. I'm sure that happens often, but I'd imagine this is 2000. Like this production, like people didn't know what was appropriate or not during reality TV at that time. So from Stacey Stillman's point of view, she's like, this is a reality show where you're like each man for himself. Like we shouldn't
yeah.
be allowing producer manipulation. But when this happens, it was like unprecedented. So I kind of understand at that time why she would sue because she's like, this is not what this show is about.
Yeah. Yeah. Even though everyone denied it, including the other contestants, they said, Rudy had a lot of good skills that were needed on the island. Like Stacey was just a better target to vote out at the time. And obviously, CBS denied the allegations. But the legal battle was eventually settled out of court for an undisclosed amount. And prior to the lawsuit, Stacey also tried to get her castmates to unite to demand higher pay when Les Moonves ordered a live reunion special to follow the finale. And she was an attorney and realized that the reunion wasn't in their initial contract. And CBS was selling 30-second ad slots for $600,000. So she figured they each
Whoa.
deserved, 100K. But another cast member ratted her out, and new contracts were sent to all of them for 10K to be signed in 2 days. So her plan fumbled.
I can't believe they were selling 30-second ad slots for 600K.
It
This
was
is
crazy how much
that's
money that show was
that's
making.
equivalent to $1 million
Yeah.
today. 26 years later, that's
Yep.
I mean at least that's
Crazy.
insane. We've said it before and we'll say it again. Lola blankets are the best blankets in the game. And with Valentine's Day coming up, they make the absolute perfect gift for anyone in your life. Seriously, if you need an easy, foolproof layup of a gift, nothing says I love you like a Lola blanket. Because let's face it, flowers die, chocolates disappear, but Lola blankets are forever. Seriously, this is a long term gift for a long term love. They're machine washable, double hemmed, and made to last for years. No shedding, no pilling, no delicate care instructions. Just a gift you can actually enjoy with your partner every single day, whether it's a movie night or a slow Sunday morning. The love of your life, or even your BFF or sibling or mother in law or bestie's new baby, deserves the best. And Lola blankets are not only the softest blankets you'll ever feel, they also look freaking chic and add a luxurious touch to any room. Take it from me. Lola blankets are already my go-to gift, and they hit every single time, even for my hardest to shop for friends and family members. For a limited time, our listeners can get 40% off select Lola blankets with code SNARK at checkout. Just head to lolablankets.com and use code SNARK. After you purchase, they'll ask where you heard about them. Please support our show and let them know that we sent you. Wrap yourself in luxury with Lola blankets.
Guys, I'm a new woman. Suddenly, I love to cook, and it's literally all because of Caraway. I seriously am so happy they're a sponsor. I swear, Caraway truly lives up to the hype. They're easy to clean and so much lighter than that other cookware brand. You know the one. That's what we were using before, and now we only reach for our Caraway, seriously. Caraway just makes the concept of cooking so much less overwhelming to me. Draining pasta doesn't have to be an arm workout anymore. Cleanup doesn't have to be a 2 hour scrub fest. Seriously, food slides right off every single time. They're also oven safe. I also obviously live in a tiny New York City apartment, so I love how clutter-free their cookware sets are. Their 12-piece set comes with a complimentary storage organizer, so our kitchen stays tidy. And did I mention they're non-toxic? I love knowing every one of their items is made with non-toxic coating, free from forever chemicals, and third-party tested. Caraway's cookware set is a favorite for a reason. It can save you up to $190 versus buying the items individually. Plus, if you visit carawayhome.com/snark, you can take an additional 10% off your next purchase. This deal is exclusive for our listeners, so visit carawayhome.com/snark or use code SNARK at checkout. Caraway, non-toxic kitchenware made modern. So let's talk about Richard Hatch. Obviously, the notorious winner of Survivor's first season. He was an instant love him or hate him type of reality star. And he really did understand the game from the jump, even though he had kind of like an abrasive personality. And one of the things that he was known for was walking around the beach naked. And he was kind of like this chubby middle-aged man. But a field producer said that they thought that this nudity was actually a really smart strategy because it made him seem less threatening to his castmates.
Which, like, I feel like now maybe would that be qualified as maybe sexual harassment?
Yeah, it definitely and there is a sexual harassment situation that Richard Hatch was involved in. So yeah, looking back, I think there was something very nefarious about it,
Yeah.
but it worked for him. And he also was openly gay. So that also was kind of, again, this was the year 2000. So that was kind of breaking barriers too.
Totally.
So naked, openly gay, middle-aged on TV.
Yeah. I
Just
mean,
not what you expect to
he doesn't
see.
give a fuck.
Does not give a fuck.
Yeah.
And also, this is another scenario where Richard had claimed that another player had cheated by taking a Cliff Bar from one of the camera operators. And this is like a theme that continues to
So
happen,
funny.
is that people are always rumored to be stealing food from the camera people and the
That's
producers.
hilarious.
And okay. So there actually, we've talked about reality stars not getting like totally vetted. There was a story about Richard Hatch that came out that he was arrested for child abuse, having physically disciplined his son. But the charges were eventually dropped, but the story was covered heavily. And it's like, how did Richard Hatch get cast? But again, there was no real like vetting process for reality stars at the time. In 2006, Hatch was convicted of tax evasion for failing to report his $1 million survivor prize money to the IRS, and he was sentenced to 51 months in prison.
What an idiot.
Obviously, what an idiot. We all saw you
Yeah, I know.
win this money.
With your 43 million viewers, everyone saw
Yep,
that you won the 1 million. You should
everyone
report it.
saw it.
Yeah.
You should probably report it.
Yeah.
So let's get into Richard Hatch's later controversy, which was on Survivor All Stars a few years later. And this was during a challenge. I guess I didn't really explain the challenges. So there are reward challenges and immunity challenges. Reward challenges, they get like food, fishing supplies, shelter supplies, Chili's, a Chili's hot fudge sundae bar at the beach. Immunity challenges are when someone is voted out. So every episode has two challenges. This was during an immunity challenge, and contestants had to pass each other on a narrow balance beam. And as Richard Hatch was passing fellow contestant Sue Hawk, she alleged that he kind of rubbed himself against her and apparently taunted her with phrases like, "You want some of this?" To which she recoiled and responded, "Gross," tried to shove past him. And over the next 24 hours, Sue Hawk became increasingly distraught. By the following day, she was visibly shaken and really upset by what happened. And I watched this season. I've watched, like I said, all of the first 35 seasons. And I remember this vividly. She was extremely distraught. He definitely seems to have touched her inappropriately. And she kind of had an outburst and announced that she would not continue the game. She said, it went too far. I'm done. There's no way I can continue with my emotions pushed to the ground that much. And yeah, she left the game. And this divided a lot of longtime fans. And I feel like this was obviously before the Me Too movement. This was the year 2004 when this All-Star season was filmed. And people were like, well, why was her reaction so delayed? Like, people didn't understand
Yeah.
how something like this works at the time.
How trauma can present itself.
Yes.
It's not a one formula. And if you deviate outside that formula, you are not traumatized. That make it make sense. That doesn't make sense.
Yes, exactly. And she described it as, I just kept reliving the incident, just kept eating into me more
Yeah.
and more like a cancer. In interviews, she made it clear she felt sexually violated, even if the physical contact was brief. And oh, and I forgot to mention that he was naked during this challenge too.
I mean, I completely understand why that felt incredibly violating. And as hours go on, days, why that gets more and more uncomfortable the longer you sit with it. So
Yeah. Yep, exactly. They ended up being put on the early show on CBS together after the episode aired, said that, they had it was water under the bridge, no pun intended. She said that Richard half apologized and he maintains that it was unintentional. And rumors swirled that she would file a lawsuit, but ultimately she never did. She said she did contemplate it though. She said it was just so traumatizing, emotionally draining. I just wanted to put it behind me. And she did say that the network did a good job of treating her concerns with respect, which
that's great. Which for that time, that says a lot.
exactly, exactly. So, Survivor Outback season 2. This was 2001. Like I said, this was the most watched season of Survivor to this day. It premiered after the Super Bowl, drew 43 million viewers for its premiere, and averaged 30 million weekly viewers. The cast were superstars, just like the first season. I think even more so with the second season because, again, even more people watched it. Colby Donaldson was America's sweetheart. And he was like this good looking all American,
Yes.
like good at challenges. And he ended up getting, roles in Hollywood. And I actually was watching Red Eye, the movie Red Eye with Rachel McAdams.
Oh, it's our favorite movie. That's another
Yeah,
Snark
our
bait coded
favorite movie. Yeah,
movie.
Cillian Murphy and Rachel McAdams. He's in that. He plays like a bodyguard for like the
Yes.
president or something.
Yes, I just had to Google who he was, and I at first I didn't recognize him, but immediately when I typed in Colby
Yeah.
Donaldson Red Eye,
Yeah.
iconic. He was yes, love it.
He was America's sweetheart. It was crazy.
So handsome. Oh my God.
Very handsome at the time. He ends up being a fucking pussy. Like he comes back in later seasons and every appearance that he comes back on is just worse for him. Like I actually think he's so annoying. But that second season, he was just like the ultimate, just like I said, all-American, good-looking guy. Jerry Manthe, however, who also was on that season, was America's most hated person. Didn't do anything. Really. She was outspoken, she was like opinionated, she was strategic, and she was pretty. And she was kind of like flirtatious, which naturally made America hate her.
I mean, God forbid a woman be flirtatious, outspoken,
And
and
attractive
pretty.
and
Yeah,
strategic and
God,
smart.
yeah,
I
God
stand
forbid.
Jerry. I
Yeah,
stand Jerry Manthe. She ends up coming back for later seasons also and gets redemption. Truly
as she
redemption.
should.
I love her so much. And also, I know I mentioned this, but this was the longest season. This was 42 days in the Australian outback versus 39 days that they would have after this, and now 26 post COVID. And this was like back when the elements were real. I mean, the elements still are real, like in the modern day Survivor, but it's also like you're in Fiji, like, yeah, there are like rainstorms and there are, you know, some
There's
things that
elements.
there
Yeah.
are elements to a degree, but oh my God, the Australian outback. Like I remember there was one episode where the entire camp flooded. Everything at camp was wiped away. It was washed away. I mean, their food, their shelter, everything. Season 3 in Africa, there were like lions
Oh my
everywhere.
God.
There was a constant threat of lions. There was
Lions?
yes, literally lions that would
No.
stalk outside of their camp.
Nope. Drawing the line
Yeah.
there.
And then elephant shit in their water supply.
What?
Now they're given bug spray and sunscreen, but in the early seasons they weren't. So Marquesas, which was Boston Rob's season, I remember they were all like they had bug bites on every inch of their bodies. Like this was real. And during a reward trip in Survivor, the Australian outback, Colby Donaldson actually removed coral from the Great Barrier Reef to take home as a souvenir, which is obviously very illegal. In the same trip, a helicopter involved in the production flew, and this was during a reward challenge where they got to like go to the Great Barrier Reef. A helicopter involved in production flew around protected seabirds. Both actions violated Australian law, and Mark Burnett had to apologize. I can't believe that like Colby Donaldson was like, yeah, let me take like a piece of the Great Barrier Reef.
Just put it in my duffel bag for when I
Put it in my
travel.
duffel, put it in my
Yeah.
checked bag.
In my checked bag.
Okay, so Survivor Thailand season 5. And this is, again, another early controversy that I don't think was handled well. I think that the Sue Hawk and Richard Hatch incident was handled better than
Mm,
this was. And this was when contestant Gandia Johnson accused fellow contestant Ted Rogers of grinding on her in her sleep.
what?
And he claimed that
That's
he was like so, just deep in sleep. He thought he was with his wife. He forgot where he was. And he apologized initially, but then later completely denied any wrongdoing. And this led to a heated confrontation. You could see that Gandia was extremely upset. And, she also was on a cast with a bunch of horrible misogynists like Brian Heideck, who ended up winning that season, and also Clay Jordan, who was a piece of shit. So she was never going to be believed in the first place, but none of her cast believed her, and she was quickly voted out, and everyone took Ted's side over hers. It split
oh.
their Chewigon tribe, which was their tribe name. And yeah, the issue was completely downplayed at the reunion by Jeff. And Gandia said that this was one of the worst experiences of her life. And actually, Entertainment Weekly did a retrospect during the pandemic when
Yeah.
Survivor was put on pause by interviewing all of these old contestants. And it's really interesting to read some of their old interviews. But she said, I know what happened, and for it to be minimized to such a small degree as that, and not knowing that that was going to be said at the reunion, as in the downplaying, there's
Hmm.
no sensitivity to the shit. They already had it how they were going to play it. So no one was going to believe her to begin with.
Was there any? I'd imagine there's obviously no footage because it was like during a sleeping period of time when they weren't filming. Like, did you see any? No,
I've,
no,
tr- I've,
not that I'm
I've
discounting it. I'm just curious, like, what was shown?
I did watch the season and they always had, I want to say that it was shown. I mean, even when they were sleeping, there were always camera people around. I honestly, it's been a while since I've watched the season, so I can't remember exactly what was shown, but it 100% happened.
Yeah, of
And
course.
because Ted admitted to it at first. He was like, "Yeah, oh my God, I'm sorry. I thought you were my wife," and blah blah blah, but then ended up denying it, and then everyone took Ted's side and no one believed her.
Yeah, how convenient. You're sleepwalking,
Yeah, how
and you just,
convenient.
yeah, give me a
Exactly.
break.
So this again was something that was not handled well. So moving on to Survivor Pearl Islands, like I said, an iconic season, season 7, 2003. This was a pirate theme and is regarded as one of the greatest seasons of Survivor of all time. Johnny Fairplay, Andrew Savage, Rupert. I'm sure you know about the Johnny Fairplay grandma lie, Christy.
No, I don't. Yeah, no,
Oh,
Johnny Fairplay, that name sounds familiar,
he was
but
on House of Villains. He's like an iconic reality TV villain.
gotcha. Yeah, his name sounds very
So
familiar.
later, like when you're one of the last contestants, I want to say like final 6 or 7, one of the reward challenges will be you compete for a visit with your family or friends, with a loved one, the
Sure.
loved one visit. So he had conspired with his friend before his friend visited for the loved one's visit. So this was him being like, "Hey, if I make it, we're going to do this thing where you tell me that my grandma died, and then everyone will feel bad for me and it'll get me farther in the game."
Oh, he conspired with one of his friends offline before going on the show that if I make it this far, this is what's going to
Yeah,
happen.
before going on the
Oh,
show. Yeah. So
oh,
his friend Dan shows up and Johnny goes, "This is like so iconic, the scene, even though it's like obviously a horrible lie." Uh Johnny goes, "How's grandma?" And he goes, "She died, dude." And he's obviously like crying, even though it's all like acting.
damn, he's a good
And
actor if he can turn on the tears that
it was
quickly.
shocking. And when you're watching it as a viewer, you're like, "Oh my
You're
God,
like,
that's so sad."
it's
And then
believable.
it cuts to him in a confessional being like, "My grandma's just fine. She's probably watching Jerry Springer right now."
Oh my God.
I know. Crazy.
That can't be
Um,
good, like karma or juju to put that out into the universe.
no, obviously not, but that's
Yeah.
what Johnny Fairplay did to get ahead. You have
Jesus.
to watch it, Chris, you have to watch
No,
that scene.
I'm like like I'm juiced right now. Like I
No,
can't wait
you have
after
to watch
work
it.
to watch this. Which, by the way, sorry, where is this streaming? I know I could just Google this. Do you
Um,
know Hulu?
I watched Survivor on Prime,
Okay,
Prime
easy.
Video with, but you need a Paramount plugin. I have the Paramount plugin. So either on Paramount Plus or Prime via the Paramount plugin. But if there's
Everything's moving to
another,
Paramount these days. You know,
yeah,
I think it's time for me.
if there's another way to watch it, you guys let me know, but that's how I watch Survivor personally.
Gotcha.
So Survivor Vanuatu, this is season 9, 2004. Obviously, we're skipping around. There are some seasons we're not mentioning, but we're gonna go through some of the notable moments slash scandals. This is when Jeff starts dating a contestant, Julie Berry. And apparently they only dated after filming wrap, but you could tell that he like was obsessed with her during filming. And kind of
This
gross
is
because
Jeff, the Jeff that kind of sexually.
no,
Uh,
Jeff Probst the host.
oh, sorry. Okay,
Jeff Probst the host.
gotcha.
Jeff, when I say Jeff, yeah, Jeff Probst.
Hmm.
So he was in his 40s at this time, and she was in her early 20s, so like kind of gross.
Sure.
But he was obsessed with her. And this was the season that Chris Doherty, I don't even know how to pronounce his last name, honestly. I'm doing a really bad job of pronouncing contestants' names, but there are just so many, and they all have, different
Yeah,
names.
yeah.
Anyway, Chris won, and this was an interesting season because there was an alliance of women, and originally the tribes were divided men versus women, and the women ended up having the majority going into the merge. So it was like, oh my God, the women are gonna take it. Like this is an easy path. Just take out the rest of the men. We have the majority alliance. And then Chris weaseled his way in and got the women to turn against each other, and then that ended up screwing Julie, who Jeff had a crush on. And so Jeff was so mean to Chris at the reunion and was like, you're just a liar. You are a dishonest person.
Were people aware that Jeff and
Not at that
Julie?
time, because it happened
Oh,
after filming.
gotcha. It reminds me of Chris Harrison dating like Andy Dorfman. Do you remember
Oh my
that?
God, I forgot that that happened.
Yeah, and I think maybe someone else, but I think for sure. Oh, Selma Almeri. Remember her from Sean Lowe's season? This is such a throwback. I could
I
do a
don't know if I
whole
watched
Bachelor
Sean Lowe's
episode.
season.
Yeah. Oh, that was really with Catherine, but
Chris Harrison dated her.
one of the contestants. Yeah, Selma.
Chris Harrison is so weird.
He's so dark. I saw him one time in Newport. He thought he was like so cool. He was walking around with his wife and he like wanted to be recognized so badly and I didn't even flinch. And you know me, I love
Oh my
to.
God, that's so funny. Yeah,
Yeah,
you didn't flinch? Wow.
yeah, that's when it's telling you something, but he was like begging
Wow.
to be recognized.
Yeah. So Jeff was like, you are deceptive and dishonest to Chris just because he screwed over his girlfriend or his crush. And in general, Jeff like definitely plays favorites. He he can be really mean to contestants he doesn't like, which is sad. Again, like I get sometimes I need like a break from watching Survivor. Like it's been a couple weeks since I've watched a season recently because I get sad. Because I'm like,
Yeah.
first of all, everyone's being mean to this person, whether they deserve it or not. They're getting voted out. Like, Jeff is being mean to this person. Jeff overall is an amazing host, but he definitely can play favorites. Like,
Yeah.
he loves an all-American, like, guy who's good at challenges. Like, he loved Colby. He loved Boston
Yeah.
Rob. Like, he loves, like, the masculine,
Yeah.
you know,
It's one of the bros.
those are either like a really hot girl or one of the bros. Those are always his favorites.
It's like
Otherwise,
the
he
popular
doesn't.
kids.
Yeah, exactly. Which, speaking of which, there are definitely contestants that he has not been that nice to. Uh, Survivor unfortunately has a history of ostracizing contestants with disabilities. So, one example is Christy. She was the first deaf cast member on Survivor Amazon. This was season 6. Actually, Rob Sesternino's season. Rob Sesternino, as we know, is on this season of The Traitors. He was unfortunately
Oh, yeah.
banished early on, which a lot of people were upset about because he's a really good strategist and really good Survivor player.
I think he was voted
And
off like day one,
he was
right? I think
murdered. He was
murdered.
murdered. I think he was like, yeah, the second person murdered. Very unfortunate, honestly. I wanted to watch him play. But Christy says that she felt isolated throughout the entire time. I felt excluded because I didn't know how to share my needs with my fellow castaways, nor did they know how to work with me, which is it sounds like she is, she gave them grace also. She was like, I know it's different being around someone who can't hear, especially, when they're at camp at night and they just have like a bonfire. Oh, and that's another thing about Survivor, Christy. I like keep forgetting that you don't know like the basics of Survivor.
Yeah.
They have to like start fires. If they don't start a fire, they don't like get to drink water, they don't get to eat. Like
You
they
and I
have
would be
to,
so useless.
oh my God, I would be
Oh my,
fucked.
yeah.
I think about it sometimes and like a tiebreaker. There's like a tiebreaker at the final four that has happened before where if the votes are split, there's a fire making challenge. And the person who makes a fire first goes through, and the person who can't make a fire goes home. And I always think like I need to practice making a fire. I don't plan on going on Survivor anytime soon, but it's like I need to know just in case.
Yeah, basic, not life skills, but outdoor skills, I feel like
Yeah.
would be good to just have in your back pocket,
Yeah.
just in case. What percentage of baby snarks know how to start fires?
I'm very curious. I don't even know how to start one in like my in-laws fireplace. Like when I watch Henry do it, I'm like, wow, that's impressive. And that's
Yeah,
with like a Duraflame and like a lighter. Like they don't have anything. You
yeah.
literally on Survivor, like they'll get flint. And that'll be like an early reward is getting flint or, matches or whatever it is. But I have watched people on Survivor literally start fires from a pair of glasses with the sun.
Well, now that you're saying this, it's like one of those random questions. What is a matchbox? Like, how does that work? Why is it that you swipe it and then fire ignites?
I think
What's
it's
in
the
that?
friction. I think it's the friction.
Right, but like, what is in that matchbox strip that causes
I don't know.
just I don't know. I could probably ask AI or something, but
Good
interesting.
question. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how anything works, honestly. But anyway,
I don't know how anything works.
my point is that because all they would have for light was a bonfire, you could not see each other. The all you have is hearing. And Christy was at such a disadvantage, like during
Mm,
camp conversations at night. Like it 100% hindered her social game,
of
unfortunately.
course, yeah.
And she ended up making it nearly to the finals and placing sixth despite the disadvantage, which is crazy. Her only downfall was like she was like toggling between alliances and couldn't make up her mind. And they were like, let's just get rid of Christy because she can't make up her mind and she's trying to play both sides. So she like made it really far and did a really good job despite the fact that she was deaf. Nina Porsche, on the other hand, this was the second deaf contestant on season 30. And the theme of this season, the themes get crazier as the show goes on. Blue collar versus white collar versus no collar. So this is blue collar workers versus white collar workers versus like the nomads and the artists that are no collar. Nina was on the no collar tribe, and she was a contestant who I felt like Jeff was not very nice to, unfortunately. And I felt really bad for her because she was on a tribe with like all like young, hot people, and
Hmm.
they were just mean to her. And Joe Anglim, Joe, whatever his name is, especially was not nice to her, was conspiring against her the entire time. And
What?
it was so horrible to watch because he also was painted as the Survivor Golden Boy and like a challenge beast. He came back for multiple seasons. Jeff loved him. And meanwhile, Nina felt really ostracized and it was really sad. She was like crying a lot. She said, I miss 90% of the conversations out there. I have to be looking at people to hear them. I do a little bit of lip reading to help me understand what people are
Stop.
saying.
Oh my
So if
God.
you're not looking at me, I can have trouble understanding. So I missed a lot of conversation. And she was constantly being like, I can't hear you.
I'm just like
And
envisioning her like popping her head up, like, wait, can you repeat that?
I know it was really sad. It was
Stop it. That's
really,
gonna make me cry. That's like really
I know
upsetting.
it was really sad to watch. Other contestants with disabilities were Chad Crittenden from season 9, Vanuatu. He was the first amputee cast member. He lost his lower right leg to cancer 2 years prior to filming, and so he played with a prosthetic foot. And he started the season wearing long pants and did not initially reveal his leg to the tribe. But once he did, everyone was surprised because he was such a strong player. And they ended up eliminating him fairly quickly because they thought he was a jury threat. Like they were like, this is a guy who could win it all because,
Hmm.
he'll get the jury's sympathy or whatever. So it ended up being a disadvantage for him in a different way, even though he was just as strong in challenges, if not stronger than the rest of the cast. Kelly Bruno, season 21, Nicaragua, uh, was also an amputee on Survivor, and she was also a strong physical contender and challenge threat. But contestant Nayanka Mixon was so mean to her, openly bullied her, shoved her to the ground to snatch a hidden immunity idol clue, later told the camera she wanted to throw Kelly's artificial leg into the fire. So she was,
That's like a violent threat.
oh, it was horrible. Nayanka was horrible. She's like one of my least favorite Survivor contestants of all time. And she ended up quitting the game
Good.
before, yeah, she ended up quitting. So she's looked at as a quitter.
When you said throwing Kelly's artificial leg into the fire, I'm sorry, what I thought of was Aviva in her fake leg throwing it onto
Yeah.
the only thing
Yep.
fake about me is this.
Yeah.
Sorry,
It's
complete
like
conjecture.
such a, like, just, it'd be one thing if she did that to her own leg, but to threaten to do that with someone
S-
else's leg is horrible.
Yeah, crippling them without that, you violent piece of shit. Ew, I
Yeah.
hate this girl. Horrible.
Horrible.
Yeah.
So jumping back to 2006, Survivor Cook Islands. This was a big controversial season because guess what? The
Oh my God.
tribes, there were four tribes,
No,
and
stop.
they were divided by their ethnicity.
Do you know what I'm thinking of?
What?
Remember we were talking about ANTM? You go, or hey, remember when they race swapped? And
Race swapped on ANTM.
right, but like it's just like it's giving the same energy.
It's giving ANTM race
Totally.
swapping.
And
Like the
honestly,
way
it was
that
like
people
around
were
the same
about
time.
race. Yeah,
To-
exactly. That's what I was going to say. In the early
yeah.
2000s, the way people were about race was so weird. So there were four
It's
tribes.
so crazy.
They were divided into the black tribe, the Asian tribe, the Latino tribe, and the white tribe.
What if you're mixed?
I think there were probably mixed people, but they went into the one of their, if there was a mixed Asian person that was
Yeah.
Asian and white, they were on the Asian tribe. Because
Because the Asian trumps the
the white tribe was just Aryan, pure white. It
no,
was
I'm
so
dying.
bad,
That's so bad.
so bad. But I will say the season was the birth of Parvati, and Parvati from the Traders.
No, what is that?
Wait, Parvati, you watched the Traders season 2, right?
Remind me? Yeah, that was the first season I ever watched, and then obviously this season.
Parvati Shallow, she was a trader, and she was the one with the headbands. You know Parvati. Oh my God, Christy.
Wait, hold on. Let me
Christy,
just
do not
Google.
call yourself a reality TV fan. I really can't with Christy not knowing Parvati. You know Parvati. You watch The Traders.
Oh, yes, 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 yes. Wait, no, I don't think she was on last.
No, she was on season 2. Did you not
Oh.
watch season
No,
1
I
and season 2
did.
of The Traders?
I did. I just don't remember her.
Okay,
I'm telling you, I have like a horrible
you
memory.
guys please don't judge Christy for this. Like, I know that's bad.
No, are
Reality
you sure?
TV fans. Christy,
Parvati, Trader.
Parvati is a reality TV legend, an absolute legend. So, also Ozzy, this was Ozzy's first season. Yul famously won the season. And something that's controversial about Yul winning this season is that this was
No,
when,
I feel like she was in season one because she's with Tamara.
no, she wasn't. She was in season 2, I promise you. Don't
Oh.
tell me, Chrissy, you don't know anything about this. Parvati or the Traders, clearly. She was in the turret with Phaedra. Remember, Phaedra goes, Parvati.
No, I'm telling you, I don't remember this woman. I believe
That's
you, but like I
crazy.
just don't remember it.
You didn't watch Trader season 2 then.
I watched the Dylan Efron one.
Oh,
I
then you didn't watch Trader season 2. I thought you watched all of the seasons. You only watched
mm-mm-mm-mm.
season 3.
Yes, I think so.
Oh, Chrissy, you have work to do.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was like, wait, I don't. This is not ringing a
No,
bell.
you have work to do then. You need to go back and watch season 1. You haven't watched season 1 of The Traders? That's with Kyle Cook is on it.
Yeah, I haven't watched. I've like, yeah, Dylan Efron
Oh,
was out. That was
okay.
my That was my gateway drug.
Okay. Okay. You need to go back and watch those. Parvati is a reality TV legend, though. She has now won multiple seasons of Survivor. She is known as one of the best Survivor contestants of all time, and therefore is really exciting when she went on The Traders. And yeah, so this choice to race divide the tribes came from the criticism that Survivor was not ethnically diverse enough. Well, I don't think this is the way to do it.
Yeah, and then basically segregate, literally like Jim Crow.
Segregate, yeah. Yeah.
Like, what
And
is this?
a ton of sponsors dropped their support of the show when this happened because it got so much controversy. Um, CBS proceeded, obviously, with the race divided tribes, even though they were later merged. And I remember also reading about how they were like, we cannot, like, it'll look really bad if the white tribe wins. So, like, just hope that the white tribe or white contestant doesn't win. And thankfully, they didn't. Yule won. And this was controversial because at the time, the hidden immunity idol was something that you could use after the votes were read, which gave him basically, it was impossible to get Yule out. Like, he was going to win regardless. Other people argue that Ozzy at the final two should win instead. The hidden immunity rules now are trickier. You have to present the immunity idol before the votes are read. So you have to kind of predict what's going to happen or have insight into what's going to happen. It's trickier because if you can present the hidden immunity idol at any time, then it just makes it way too advantageous. AKA Tony on Survivor, Kage on. I know that sounds like gibberish to you, Christy, but Survivor viewers, you'll know what I'm talking
I was like,
about.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. So let's talk about one of the more iconic, speaking of Parvati, one of the more iconic moments of Survivor, which is the Black Widow Brigade. Also, speaking of Suri from season one of Traitors, and we're going to bring in Rachel, our social maven, who is a Survivor super
Maven.
fan, to talk about this with me. Rachel, come on in.
Come in, come on
Sorry.
stage.
Hi guys. My gosh, I'm
Hi,
Hi.
so
Rachel.
excited to be here.
I
I
know
can't
we're
wait to
so
talk
excited
about
to
it.
have you. Yeah, because I know that you are a Survivor super fan like me, and you feel very passionately about the Black Widow
And
Brigade.
I do. This feels like the perfect opportunity for my podcast debut. The first season I watched was Micronesia. So I what Pearl Islands is to you is what Micronesia is to me.
An amazing
So
season, also, by the way.
it is.
Amazing
So
season.
Christy, I recommend, and so you can finally know who Parvati is. I
Can
Yes.
you
recommend
believe that she doesn't know who Parvati is?
she has been my idol since I was 8 years old.
Okay, you guys are
She's an
really selling
icon.
it. I'll have to
I
watch
like
this season.
I wanted to do what she did. Like I was like I want to be a boxer when I was 8. Like I genuinely practiced boxing because I was that obsessed
How
with
cute.
Parvati. But yeah, this was my favorite season. It's the one that I started with actually. So I was 8 years old when it was airing, and I had just started watching Survivor. Went back, watched all the past seasons, and I think I made it to 30. Like I was keeping up with
Hmm.
it, and then I fell off. But I'm rejoining for 50, even though I don't love the cast, but I feel like I just don't know a lot of them.
Yeah.
But anywho, season 16 Micronesia, as some background, obviously was fans versus favorites. So it was a tribe of
Mm.
all of the favorites of the iconic people from past seasons. So it's Parvati Shallow, Ozzy, James from China with Amanda, and Jonathan Penner. All of those
Suri.
people. Suri, yeah, iconic. And so the
Wait,
Black
can I
Widow,
just say really
yes.
fast? Sorry. Fun fact about the season. This is very niche and probably no one cares except me. One of the fans on the show was Mikey Bortone. He was married to Aurora Culpo, who is Olivia Culpo's sister.
What?
And that's the father of Aurora Culpo's two children. I know she's pregnant right now with a third with her new husband, but yeah, just a fun fact there.
Yeah, I read that somewhere, but I also kind of forgot about that. So that's cool to
It's not
remember.
important. He gets voted out very quickly. Spoiler
Right.
alert.
And
But
he was on the fans.
yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was, I mean, it was just a really cool, it was the first time they were doing something like this. So to have all the super fans and, kind of they know the favorites strategies. So they kind of have the upper hand there, but the favorites have played before and they're so beloved. So it's who actually has the upper hand. But
Mhm.
they formed the Black Widow Brigade, as you mentioned. And it's kind of what they tried to do in season 9, I feel like. And then Chris ends up winning and turning all of the girls against each other.
Mhm.
But this was the first time it was genuinely successful. So the Black Widow Brigade consisted of 3 of the favorites, which is Parvati, Amanda Kimmel, Suri Fields, And then two of the favorites, Natalie Bolton and Alexis Jones.
Wait, do you
Um,
consider Alexis as part of? I like don't consider her as part of the Black Widow Brigade.
Not really. So like I was going back and watching a lot of things, and I'm like, when did they coin it as? I know I think Parvati was the one that like coined it as the Black Widow Brigade. It might have been when Alexis was off, but I like kind of consider Ozzy like the first victim in a way.
Yeah,
Like, and Alexis was there for that. She was there for Jason.
you're
But
right. You're
I
right.
feel like it's when they started like really targeting the men, even though
Hmm.
like I feel like before that, like Eliza, I feel like could even be considered, but it was more so just like the majority alliance. Like for they just like hated
Yeah,
Eliza, so they were like, just get her out.
yeah, yep.
But yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's like up for debate, but like I said, I think the first victim was Ozzy, which to my memory, I don't think Amanda was like totally down for since they like were kind of had like an on-screen romance relationship that like maybe went like farther off screen. I'm not totally sure. I feel like
Yeah.
it's kind of up for debate. And side note about Ozzy, I feel like he has the Colby Donaldson like trajectory as well. Like he was
Yes.
so beloved. I like
Challenge beast.
my dog is named after him. Like in 2012, like when we got Ozzy, like we named him Ozzy. And now he
That's
is
so
like
funny.
not well liked at all. I feel like there's like personal controversies that I don't know much about, so like can't speak on those.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
like,
He's one of those where his I feel like if you have one good season of Survivor, you should just never come back because
right,
every time a fan favorite comes back, their popularity just goes down and they
right.
always make themselves look worse.
Yes, like
Like
he was voted
Colby,
out. Yeah.
JT. Yeah.
Yeah, JT, yeah, poor JT. Yeah, like Ozzy voted out with like an idol in pocket. Like it's just dumb. It's just dumb.
Yeah. So,
Um,
Christy, that's a big deal because when you have a hidden immunity idol, you're like, okay, I'm set, but you don't use it if you feel safe. You only use it if you don't feel safe,
Right.
obviously. And the Black Widow Brigade was like, yeah, you're safe, Ozzy. Like, they basically
yep.
backstabbed him. He thought he was in an alliance with them.
Yes. But really it was the girls.
So going
So
out with a hidden immunity idol in your pocket is the
it's embarrassing.
ultimate embarrassment.
Yeah. James
Yeah.
with two in
James with
season
two
in
on
China.
China.
Yeah, like that's just really sad. But
Yep.
yes, I consider him the first victim. And then Jason Siska from the fans team,
Hmm.
when him and Parvati are in that challenge where they're like holding their hand up and there's like a paint bucket or something. And it's one of the like endurance challenges. And she's like, just like let me win, like, and we won't vote you off. So like dumb, obviously, but he does it and then he's gone. See you
Hmm.
later. So both of those examples, I think, are what make the most infamous example or the most infamous moment of the Black Widow Brigade so humiliating and shocking and insane because like Eric, Reichenbach, I don't know how to pronounce it, but
Yeah.
Eric, who is this young, small town super fan, like kind of goofy, um, he was in the final five with four members of the Black Widow Brigade. Alexis was voted off the episode before because Eric had won individual immunity. So they had to vote out one of the girls. And then it's the five of them left. Eric wins again. So he's safe from the vote. He's going to make it to the final four. And if he keeps winning, like he could win the whole game. I don't know like, that he was a shoe in, but he can make it to the end at the very least. Um, the girls, I feel like this is such a infamous scene. They're like sitting at the camp and someone's like, well, Natalie, like, what if you convince him to give you his individual immunity? Which, like, every once in a while happens, but that's pretty rare because why would
Right.
you give up, especially when you're there
Hmm.
with four girls that you just watched vote out all of the men?
Yeah.
Uh, so their plan was like, Natalie, just like go up to Eric and be like, we want to vote Amanda. Like, you and I want to vote Amanda out. Suri will only vote Amanda out if you give me your immunity because she needs to trust you, which like doesn't really make a ton of sense. Like I mean it was their only option of like an excuse, I guess, but like that isn't super believable. But basically what they do is gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss, all of the things. And their plan is at the final tribal, Parvati and Amanda are gonna like come at his throat. They're basically saying like none of these women respect you. All you've done is lie. Like he's backstabbed a few people here and there, but he wasn't like hated that much. Um, and then Suri and Natalie kind of keep quiet, and like you see this whole thing go down. The jury's watching it at the tribal council, and Eric gives up his individual immunity to Natalie, and everyone cracks up. Like the jury, everyone's laughing.
Yeah, so he basically they're the Black Widow Brigade because they would I don't want to say seduce men, but they would like flirt with men and convince them that they were safe, like Parvati did to Jason, and then
Yep.
they did it again to Eric. They were like, "Yeah, you're safe. Just like give us your immunity necklace because you don't need it anyway, and like
Right.
we need to know that you trust us and that we can trust you." They literally gaslit him, and like it was obviously humiliating, but like so funny and an iconic Survivor moment. And again, a star was born. Parvati and Suri. I mean, Suri was
Yeah.
already, Parvati was not really a star after Cook Island. Suri was a star after Panama. Um, but literally a star was born.
Yeah. No, it was like watching it in real time. And I was someone like from day one loved Parvati and like really like loved all of the girls of that group. So like watching this go down was, I mean, I was 8 years old, but I was like, write this down, write this down. Like this is so
Yeah.
iconic. Like you're gonna need to remember to do this.
Yeah.
But it was so, so good. And then all of the girls, even like they start laughing. I'm sure Eric knew in that moment, like, oh, well, they're like, I'll see myself out. They all vote him out, obviously. And then as it goes, Natalie's voted out next. Amanda wins the individual immunity at the final three, which basically you just choose someone to come with you to the final two if it's a final two tribal council instead of a final three. So
Hmm.
she brings Parvati. I'm assuming she thought she had it in the bag against Parvati. I mean,
Yeah.
like watching it, like I didn't want that to be the case because I was a Parvati stan, but Cerie's so beloved. Like
Yeah.
she's like, I feel like someone that everyone's like, she really like deserves to win. Like
Yeah.
I
The
really
best to
want her to
never
win.
win.
Yeah, she really is. So she brings Parvati, but Parvati ends up winning against Amanda. I think Amanda just plays like kind of a safe game because like the same thing happened to her in China,
Hmm.
where she's like middle of the road. But people speculate, and they seemed like really chummy at the reunion, but like in Heroes versus Villains, like a few seasons later, like they're not really close, they're not really working together, and like they're never really, I could be wrong, but I don't think they've ever really been seen together again. And they were like close friends in Micronesia. So there's like some speculation that Amanda was like a little jealous. And I mean, like she was back to back seasons, 15 and 16, final two, doesn't win.
Yeah, it
So
sucks.
I don't
Sucks.
blame her.
Yeah, she was Christy. She was on season 15 and was runner up, and then went right onto season 16 as a returnee, and then was runner up in that season. It was kind of like Nick Viall on The
Oh
Bachelor.
God.
Um, but this was also at the final tribal council when Ozzy says, "Amanda, I'm in love with you," and everyone was like, "What are you talking about?"
Like I thought you guys were just like cuddling at night because it's cold. But yeah, that was wild. Or when Natalie, I wish I would have watched it. She says something really like odd to Parvati at Final Tribal Council. Like it was something like that was like a little bit
Oh,
like,
yeah, she said like some sort of like sexual comment. It was such a
yeah,
weird, it was just a weird, crazy season, but like an
yeah,
iconic season. Um, so yeah, that's the tea on Micronesia.
yeah.
An
Best season ever.
amazing, yeah, best season ever, Christy. You need to watch. But thank you so much, Rachel, the super
Thank you
fan, for
guys.
walking us through the Black
Of
Widow Brigade
course.
saga. Again, an iconic season, iconic moment. A lot of stars were born that day.
Yes, truly. Thank you guys for having me. So honored.
Thanks,
Thank
Rach.
you. You're the best. So that is Micronesia. And I also want to, I know I'm kind of like skipping around to different seasons, but these are just like the notable moments that have happened. Something that I think is really interesting is why did the car rewards go away? So early on in Survivor, reward challenges would always involve cars later on in the season. And it was like a big deal. Like you're going to get, it was obviously sponsored. It's like you're going to get a Chevy Malibu. And then they stopped doing them. One of the reasons is because of the taxes, I believe, that the contestants would have to pay
Hey, yeah,
an insane amount of taxes. And it wasn't really a reward, it was kind of like a trap,
right.
honestly. And another reason I believe is season 14, which is Fiji, which is when Dreamz, who was a young Black contestant who talked openly about kind of his bleak financial situation and needing the prize money. And then also Yau Man, who was an elderly Asian man and just a fan favorite. And he basically was Yao Man won the car at the reward challenge, but told Dreamz he would give him the car if Dreamz gave him immunity if he won it at the next immunity challenge. And then what do you know? Dreamz, he goes, yeah, sounds like a deal.
Yep.
Dreamz ends up winning immunity, but he backs out of the deal. So he
Of
keeps the
course.
car and
Yep.
immunity. And Dreamz got backlash for this at the time, when in reality, Yau Man was in the wrong for making this deal, in my opinion, because you're kind of like taking advantage of someone who is desperate. Um, and also, Dreamz ended up getting the car repossessed because he didn't pay taxes on it.
Mm.
So there goes the car rewards, if you're wondering what happened with those. And that's always like a very controversial moment that a lot of people talk about. So let's talk about Colton from Survivor One World, season 24, 2012, the worst person to maybe ever be on Survivor. And P.S., this was the same season that Chelsea from Southern Charm was on.
I had no idea. That's amazing. I love Chelsea.
Yeah, she's the best. And she's great on the show, too. It's like, she just is who she is. I love her. So Colton was the sassy, openly gay college student from Alabama, and he made so many racist and classist remarks. He was so vicious and
Ew.
so mean. He targeted a black cast member, Bill, and called him quote unquote ghetto trash and suggested he should quote unquote kill himself during a tribal council. And Bill was voted out. Everyone took Colton's side. Uh, he also, him and Alicia, his fellow cast member, bullied Christina Cha, who was an Asian American, and they made fun of her eyes. They completely bullied her, and it wasn't even microaggressions. They were
Just
viciously
racist.
racist. And yeah, they were fucking evil to her. And they ended up inviting Colton back on Blood versus Water another season. Like, you're gonna invite this guy back?
I can
It's
already tell by
just
this picture how annoying he is. Like I hate
he
him
was
already.
so
Yeah.
mean.
Yeah.
And people were outraged that he was invited back. It's like, this is a person who is racist, who is abusive, just someone who should not be on the show. He ended up getting pulled from his season because of appendicitis, but they brought him back with his fiance Caleb for Blood versus Water, which is when they brought back returning contestants with a family member or loved one. And sadly, his fiance Caleb tragically passed away in a train accident
Oh.
shortly after the season aired.
Oh, that's tragic.
Yeah. Oh my God. The treatment of Christina was awful. They basically like hazed her. They compared her to a cockroach.
Oh my,
They said that she was so desperate she would make an alliance with a hermit crab. Like, they were
that's
so
horrible.
fucking mean. It was awful to watch.
It's like middle school bullying.
Just a horrible, yeah, middle school,
Yeah.
horrible to watch. So, one of the more, I guess, recent, even though it was now 9 years ago, was season 34, Game Changers. This was a returnee season in 2017. And this was when Jeff Varner outed fellow contestant Zeke Smith as transgender. And I've seen a lot of people talk about this recently with the roundtable at the Traders with Michael Rappaport and Colton Underwood, where Michael Rappaport, I know a lot of people are taking it different ways,
Hmm.
but some people, think that Michael Rappaport implied that Colton would be a good trader because he kept a secret. He was in the closet, and that makes him secretive.
Hmm.
And that is basically what Jeff Varner implied with Zeke Smith. The only difference is, I guess, I mean, and a lot of people are interpreted the Michael Rappaport and Colton interaction differently. This was universally, everyone was on the same page that Jeff Varner was a piece of shit for this, and Zeke was not out as transgender at the time. And this was Zeke's second season. So he had, you know, people maybe were, had known or wondered or speculated or thought, but like, he was not out. It was not his decision to be out as transgender on the show. So Jeff Varner was trying to save himself from elimination and announced to the tribe and obviously millions of viewers that contestant Zeke was transgender and said, why haven't you told anyone? Like, implying that it makes him secretive or shady.
Yeah.
trying to cast, doubt or suspicion onto Zeke and make people think that he's not
Yeah.
trustworthy because
Yeah.
he was transgender.
What? Just because he's transgender means he's not an authentic human being and he's not
Yeah,
being truthful? That's such an exaggerative leap.
I know it's such a leap, and basically argued that, his gender identity was a deception,
Oh my
and that by not
God.
telling everyone, Zeke was being untruthful.
Give me a break.
Everyone immediately condemned Varner on the spot and made him
Good.
feel horrible. And Jeff Varner is also openly gay. So you could argue, is technically an LGBTQ plus ally and apologized. Since then, he has said some horrible things on the internet about trans people. So it does seem like he is anti trans, but in the moment did seem to regret it and apologize. And Zeke, it's horrible to watch. You can see that Zeke is
Oh,
extremely embarrassed and
of
distraught and
course.
was not expecting it. You also know that like CBS probably wouldn't have aired the episode outing him to the public if Zeke didn't sign off on it, which I believe he did. And he eventually used this opportunity to be open about the trans experience and advocate for trans rights. And in the months leading up to the episode, CBS worked with GLAAD to make sure that, it would be approached carefully and the situation would be handled well. Oh my God. It was just like such a horrible
Yeah,
situation.
that sounds really traumatizing and horrible.
Yeah. And Zeke said, I think he hoped others would believe that trans people are dangerous and fraudulent. That reasoning is infinitely worse than him outing me because it's the same one used to discriminate against, attack, and murder trans people. What's great is that nobody bought it. It's important people see he lost that fight. The message should be clear that hate will always lose, which I thought was a perfect response.
Right.
No one bought it. Like everyone, I remember Andrea on that season in particular was so distraught. And yeah, everyone stood up for him. Even Jeff immediately, Jeff Probst was like, what are you doing, Varner?
Yeah.
And they all unanimously voted Varner out when that happened.
Love to see
Uh,
it.
yeah, you love to see it. Again, Varner apologized publicly, privately, right after it happened, basically, but still the damage was done. And since then, like I said, Varner has said really horrible transphobic things on the internet.
Right.
So,
So was he really? Yeah.
yeah, was he really?
Yeah.
So, another recent-ish scandal was season 39. I have not gotten to season 39 yet, so just every other season that I've talked about here, I have watched. This
Sure.
is one that I have not watched yet, so just letting you guys know. This was in 2019. Contestant Dan Spilo was accused by multiple women on his tribe of unwanted touching and boundary crossing behavior. Contestant Kelly Kim complained that his touching, caressing and hair
Hair
brushing,
brushing?
ugh, made her uncomfortable. And she spoke to Dan about it on camera. Production gave him a warning. Other players kind of downplayed the situation. But later in the season, Dan groped a production crew member off camera, which made him immediately get ejected from the game. A title card at the episode's end informed viewers of Dan's removal due to another incident of inappropriate touching. And CBS got a lot of flack, deservedly, for not acting sooner when Kelly and the
Right.
other contestants spoke up, which they obviously should. They should have immediately taken her seriously, not just a
Right.
warning. Like they should have been like, yeah, he can go. He is inappropriately touching
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
I mean, I can't imagine someone like touching my hair unwantedly. Like that just
No,
I don't like that. Gives me a chill on my spine. I don't
absolutely
like that at
not.
all.
And think about how this was like 15 years after the Thailand season with
Yeah.
Gandia and Ted. Like the fact that like it's still happening.
This was
And
2019, guys.
yeah, and luckily they, made the right move and eventually ejected Dan from the game, which they did not do to Ted on Thailand. So I guess
Right.
progress there, but
Sure.
again, it was way too delayed of a reaction and another person had to be touched inappropriately for them to finally do something.
Right.
In 2020, a group of Black former players lobbied for CBS to up the diversity. And again, like Jeff Probst said when he did Cook Islands with the racially divided tribes, it's a criticism that Survivor has gotten for a while that there isn't enough diversity.
Right.
They won the agreement to have 50% of the cast and 40% of the crew come from diverse backgrounds, which is great.
Great. Yeah.
And general criticism around Survivor regarding the lack of aftercare and support for the contestants. Let's talk about it. So, Survivor is obviously a physically and mentally draining experiment. And like I said, they're put into a pressure cooker. Like you are hungry, you're sleep deprived. You are, put in a psychologically just crazy experience where you're lying to people, you don't trust anyone. So a lot of the former contestants have criticized the show for kind of just a lack of aftercare and just throwing them back into the real world without
Yeah.
any real support. And
Yeah.
something that I think is really interesting about Survivor is that there really is like a psychological toll from feeling like you can't trust anyone for, these 39, at one point 39 days.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't know who's lying to me. You're paranoid
Yeah.
because the game truly, I know you haven't watched it, Christy, but like the game is about lying to people because you need to make people feel safe and uh, make people feel caught off guard. Like you can't it's hard to explain, I feel like. But I feel like you understand the gist. It's like
Yeah.
you need to have your cards close to your chest, right?
Yeah.
Like you can't show all your cards. You need to make people feel safe, make people feel secure, and then you backstab them. That's just how the game
Right.
works. That's how you win the game. You have to make big moves, you have to strategize, you have to take people out. And a lot of the time it's cutthroat because if someone knows that you are onto them and that you are going to vote them out, that gives them an opportunity to turn it around on you and get you out first.
Yeah.
So
Right.
essentially, there is just so much lying and backstabbing in the game, and that's part of the game.
You're
The
rewarded
best,
for good
yeah,
deception
you're rewarded for
tactics.
it. Like
Yeah.
even at Final Tribal Council, like you are rewarded for making the big moves and for taking people out and for backstabbing people. And obviously, it's such a delicate balance because you need to win the jury votes while also you can't have everyone hate you, you know? So it's like if you make a good move that people respect, great. If you make a big move that people are like, wow, well, you really fucked over your alliance and like you really fucked everyone over. Like you have to toe the line. It's actually really, really, really tricky. But more of the
Yeah.
story is that there's a lot of lying and backstabbing. And then they're, like I said, dumped back into real life. They feel like they can't trust their family and friends.
Yeah.
Like, I imagine like going on Survivor, then I come home to Henry and I'm like, who have you been aligning with?
Yeah. No, I mean, like, I can imagine the physical, not physical toll, because, for 39 days, you're not being nourished appropriately. You're
You're
not
not
sleeping
sleeping.
appropriate,
Yeah.
like, enough hours. Physically, you're exhausted. Mentally, you're questioning everything. You're rewarded to be, the higher the deception, the more rewarded you are. You don't have true friendships. It's an incredibly isolating experience, probably the most isolating
Yeah.
reality TV experience that one can be in. And now I kind of understand through watching Traders, every time people are saying we got to get the gamers out, which makes so much
Yeah.
sense. Like people in Survivor are a huge threat in the Traders because
Yeah.
they've done this before, and if they've won, they're the best at it.
Yes, exactly. The strategy element of it.
Hmm.
Oh, Tony from Gagayan, who also won Winners at War, was, I think, one of the first banished on
Yeah.
season 3 last season.
Yep.
And he's a huge threat. Like, they're
Right.
like, yeah, we need to get these people out because they know what they're doing. They know what it takes to backstab people, to lie, to
Exactly.
deceive. Um, and yeah, it's like just such a crazy psychological, mind fuck. And many have also reported like long-term physical health problems. Obviously, weight loss, malnourishment, but also hair loss, dental issues, like long-term issues from going on Survivor. And again, like you don't really know. And they always say this also when they go on the show. I feel like people that have watched it and then they finally get cast and they're like, it's so much harder than I ever would have thought. Like you are putting your body through it. You're not eating. And, with like the shell, I remember one season, I think it was All Stars season 8. Rupert has this idea of building a shelter that is like dug in the sand. And then the first night it floods
Oh no.
and they have
Yeah.
no shelter and none of them sleep and it's a rainstorm and they have they're just out in a storm and you watch when
Yeah.
the weather is horrible and they're just stuck outside without shelter,
Oh
just
my
in a
God.
rainstorm,
That's I
cold.
probably one of the worst situations you could be in,
Yeah.
genuinely.
Ethan Zahn, who won season 3 Africa and went on All Star, said that that was the worst night of his life. He
I
was like,
can
that was
totally believe that.
literally the worst night of my life. So, it's something that is physically demanding, mentally traumatizing. Just, speaking of Tony from Cagayan, he said he was never able to gain the muscle back that he had before the show. Like
Yeah.
his body was never the same. That said, it is voluntary and medical attention is there if needed. Like
Yeah.
they always, medical emergencies will happen. And Jeff Probst is always there to be like, hey, let's freaking get in the medics to check on this rash or this ankle injury or whatever it is. And then a lot of the times people will be pulled from the game because they're too injured to continue. And so it is voluntary. So you're kind of like, well, they know what they're signing up for at this point. I think that Jeff Probst has also done a really good job of I think that he knows how to handle contestants that seem to be losing it. Like Brandon Hance is one contestant who seemed to be having like a mental breakdown. And he was not the most mentally stable to begin with. And
Right.
then he seems to be having a mental breakdown. And Jeff, it's a really like powerful moment, I think, where Jeff is like, Brandon, calm down, gives him a little shoulder massage and, lets him exit the game on his own terms.
Yeah.
So while this is like a challenging game, I think that Jeff does a really good job. I think they could do a better job with aftercare for the contestants. But overall, again, people know what they're signing up for, I guess.
Yeah. I think you don't know how intense it can be physically and
Yep.
mentally until you're really in the situation. Like you look at it on TV from the comfort of your own couch in your heated living room or whatever,
Hmm.
saying, I could do this for sure. Until you're in there and then you're having to be forced to
Yep.
be exposed to the elements without shelter, freezing cold, nothing to aid you to sleep or whatever. Like that's a completely different ball game. I I could not do it. Like it takes a very specific person to be able to handle this type of reality show,
Hmm.
and you have to have incredibly tough skin and very like a huge resilience to you that I simply would not have physically.
Yeah. I always wonder, like, because when I watch Survivor, I'm like, this would be so fun. Like, I think about how it would be fun, and then I'd be like, actually, it would be my living hell, but like it would be challenging. It would be like a good experience. I don't know. I like
Yeah.
convinced myself that I would love going on Survivor, but I know I would probably hate it. And
Yeah.
I would be really bad at it. I would be the first person voted out. They'd be like,
Same.
she's so fucking annoying.
There's these yappers. They don't stop
Yeah, she
talking.
doesn't shut up. Literally, people have been voted out before because they're just like annoying and talk all the time. I'm
Yeah,
like,
that would be us.
that would be us. That
Hmm.
would literally be us. But that is Survivor. Christy, I really need you to watch Micronesia season 16 and also The Traitor season 2 so you can get to know Parvati.
Totally. I need to start with Micronesia for sure because I think that'll be my gateway into the show,
Hmm.
just so I can get a glimpse. And now that I have a little bit
The
of the
Black Widow
TLDR,
Brigade. Yeah.
yeah, I am incredibly excited for this new journey. And thanks for taking us through this. This was very
Yes.
detailed and
Yes.
a really good episode.
And
I
I know
thoroughly
there's
enjoyed myself.
Oh, good. I'm glad. I know there's a lot, you guys. Let us know, Survivor fans, Survivor, loving baby Starks, if there is anything that we may have missed because there is, almost 3 decades now of material when it comes to Survivor. But I feel like these are the most important moments, scandals, So hopefully we covered everything there is to cover, but let us know. I'm interested to hear what is your favorite Survivor moment, Survivor season, and convince Christy to join this journey with us.
Oh, I'm convinced. I'm
I'm so glad.
convinced.
That makes me
Yeah,
so happy.
this
And
this
also, you'll
episode did
see
it.
how Suri from the Black Widow Brigade won season 1 of The Traitors. Spoiler alert. So you also will, like, if you watch Micronesia and then you watch, like, I feel like to know all of the people on The Traitors,
It's
You
so
have to watch
critical.
Survivor.
No,
Yeah.
agree, because like half of that cast is Survivor or Big Brother.
Yes.
No, I agree. So I think
Yeah.
that's
And
always such a blind spot for me.
I don't watch Big Brother. So every time there's a Big Brother contestant, I'm like, who?
No, I know. Same.
Literally who? Who?
Who?
Like I literally don't know. Like I'm like, what do you mean this person was on Big Brother? Like what even is Big Brother?
What do you? I don't even know, but apparently another game show. And what do you mean he was her makeup
Makeup
artist?
artist.
If you
Like
guys don't
what do
know,
you mean? What do you mean?
Simon Monchak, Brittany
Simon
Murphy's makeup
Monjack.
artist.
So yeah, let us know, you guys. What do you think? Did we hit all of the marks? And I guess we will see you next time. Thank you everyone for listening. Follow us at SnarkBeatPod on Instagram. At Soph_Ross is my handle. At Christy Noel __ is Christy. Don't forget we have bonus episodes every Wednesday over on Patreon. Remember, you can buy tour tickets in our show notes. And yeah, leave us a 5-star rating and review if you enjoyed the episode. And anything else?
And if you don't want to leave us a 5-star review, feel free to let us know the constructive criticism in our DMs. We're literally always reading our DMs. So
Yes, please let us know.
love you guys so much. See you on the next one. Bye.
Bye.